All right, I'm back again. I actually just recorded a clip on strategies to cope with depression, to overcome depression, and for some reason it didn't save. So it's going to be shared on my Instagram page for 24 hours, but I don't have it on file to post on YouTube. So anyway, I'm just going to record this again so we can look at the first one as a warm up. All right, so for the last clip I did is I delineated the difference between biochemical depression and circumstantial depression. Circumstantial depression is based on life events. Something's going on, maybe the death of a loved one, the death of an animal friend, maybe you lost a job or you're a financial issue, so you're depressed or sad based on circumstances, usually very specific, precise circumstances. Biochemical depression is much more complex because it's independent of circumstances. So you could have a great personal life, you could be crushing it in the gym, you could have a nice income, and you're living in a safe neighborhood, but for some reason you still feel off, you still feel depressed. Examples of people that had biochemical depression are Chester Bennington of Lincoln Park and Chris Cornell. Now, I don't know this for a fact, I'm just basing this on what I know. Because these guys had great lives, they were very successful, yet they were still depressed. And people that have never dealt with depression, they don't really understand this. They don't get it. They go, how could you have all of that and still be depressed? The problem is that it's independent of circumstances. It has nothing to do with circumstances. That's an entirely different form of depression. Biochemical depression is a hormonal imbalance or a neurotransmitter imbalance or something with your biochemistry that's off. So I'm not going to talk about how to deal with circumstantial depression because that one's a little bit more clear cut. The circumstances need to be improved. Focus on improving the circumstances and you'll get over that depression. That one it's not usually that simple, but generally that's what you need to do to get over it. Biochemical depression is much different because now you have to spend more time determining root causes. So the first thing you should do is get a hormonal profile done. I like the anti-aging hormone profile at directlabs.com. Now what I like about directlabs.com is I take my doctor out of the equation. I can get the test, I pay for the test, insurance is not going to cover it, you're just going to have to pay for it, it's about $300. I take the requisition form to Quest Diagnostics or another blood drawing lab. They draw the blood and then they send me the results personally. Now I know how to interpret these results, so I don't need to pay anyone for advice. And then I know the best people in the business, so if I need additional input, it's easy for me to get it. But I know what to do. I can look at the numbers, I know how to improve things. I've been doing this for a long time. Those of you that don't know how to interpret the results, you're going to have to hire someone such as Dr. Nick Delgado or Dr. Thomas Incledon or Dr. Mark Gordon. All three of them are excellent. I like Dr. Thomas Incledon because the first session, the first consult is free, where he will assess your situation and he'll let you know whether he thinks he can help you or not before he charges you anything. And he's a PhD in biochemistry, he's a very smart guy, and he can definitely help you figure out what's going on. All three of them are good, it doesn't matter which one you go with, but out of the three, the one thing I like about Dr. Incledon is that the first consult is free, very generous of him, where he will assess your situation before you go further. So why get hormones tested in the first place? Well, hormones have a huge impact on how you think and feel. Hormones have way more impact on how you think and feel than how you think and feel affects your hormones. Just like your subconscious mind sends you way more messages than your conscious mind sends. So that's why we're very affected by our subconscious mind, just like we're very affected by our hormonal profile. If you have low testosterone, it's impossible to feel vital and at your best. You're not going to be in a good mood, men and women, when your testosterone levels are depleted. If you have low DHEA, your ability to handle stress is going to be hampered, to say the least. So you're going to have excess cortisol, and more importantly, you're not going to have DHEA to handle that excess cortisol. It's one thing to have high levels of cortisol, but if you have optimal DHEA, you can handle that situation much more effectively. And if you have really low levels of estrogen, men and women, you're going to have a very low sex drive. You're going to have shrinkage, probably. That's not fun. And then you're going to have a really poor mood and poor sex function. If you have really high estrogen levels, you're going to be much more emotional. You're going to have much more anxiety. You're going to store excess body fat in your stomach, your pecs, your lower body. Again, I'm talking men and women here. So it's about creating a balance. Hormone optimization is not about taking testosterone as high as possible and estrogen as low as possible. It's about finding optimal ranges. You want to have a balance of optimal testosterone, free testosterone, DHT, which is dihydrotestosterone. It's much more potent than testosterone, especially in the context of sex drive and sex function. Estradiol, estrone, these are estrogens. DHEA is very important. Again, ultimate stress management hormone. You want to know what your cortisol levels are at. You want to know what insulin is at because that's a master control hormone. You want to know what your progesterone levels are at because that's the building block for adrenaline and cortisol. So if you're really depleted in progesterone, you're going to have poor cortisol production. And if you have really low levels of cortisol, you're going to have no energy. You're not going to be able to even get out of bed in the morning. You're just going to be tired all the time. And you're going to be overly relying on stimulants to get through the day. So you get the picture here is that hormones are a huge, huge factor in depression. So anyone who's depressed should get their hormones tested. Now, will addressing hormone imbalances make the depression go away? In some cases, it probably will. Your depression could be based on a poor hormonal profile. In other cases, like myself, I've had lifelong depression. I wouldn't say that optimizing hormones eradicates my depression, but it makes it a lot easier for me to cope with and not be affected negatively by it. When my depression gets really bad, it's hard for me to get my workouts in, it's hard for me to run my business, it's hard for me to enjoy anything. You know, I'm a big fan of music, and when I'm really depressed, I don't even enjoy listening to music. So it has a hugely negative impact on my quality of life. When I optimize my hormones, all of a sudden I enjoy music again, my workouts. As you can see, all my clips I've posted recently, I'm killing it in the gym, and that's because my mood is so good and my hormones are so good. My sex drive and function improved dramatically, and I still have the depression, but it's more in the background rather than in the forefront. So who knows where you're going to fall in this, but bottom line is optimizing your hormones is definitely going to improve the quality of your life. Whether it eradicates depression or not, it's definitely going to improve your ability to handle depression. So get your hormone levels tested and then address hormone imbalances by working with a professional. You can try to figure this stuff out on your own, but you may spend the next decade doing that. So just work with someone who's been down there who can assess your situation and give you action steps immediately. Exercise is also huge for handling depression. If it wasn't for exercise, I don't know if I'd still be alive, to be honest with you. I may have killed myself a long time ago, and I'm perfectly serious when I say that. Exercise made a huge impact with me turning my life around. Before I got into physical training, I used to be an alcoholic. I would just drink myself into oblivion. I used to take all kinds of drugs, and I was very self-destructive. This is when I was a teenager. Once I got into working out, I felt so much better that it was easy to quit all those things because I didn't want to do anything that would hamper the productivity of my training. And I train based on for performance goals, being stronger, faster, more endurance. I don't train for a physique composition. I mean, I want to look good, but I don't care about looking good in my MeUndies, posting pictures of myself on Instagram every goddamn day. That's just not what I'm all about. I'm a performance guy. And I also think that as a man, you should be strong and fit. You should be someone that exudes confidence and is a repellent to someone who may want to assault you or anyone you're with. I just think that's really important. As a man should be strong. You should exude confidence and strength. And one of the things that helps with that is being strong and fit. Because when you know what you can handle physically, it gives you way more confidence, and that's going to improve your mood. So I'm a big proponent of strength training, endurance training such as kettlebell endurance work, sprinting, restoration activities like qigong, tai chi, yoga. That's all great stuff. Whatever form of exercise you enjoy, you want to engage in because that's what's going to improve your mood. And I could tell you to do what I do, but if you don't enjoy it, you're not going to stick with it and it's going to be futile. So exercise is very important. At the very least, get a walk in every day. Do some kind of calisthenics program. Go for a 3-mile walk or at least a 1-mile walk. Do that stuff every day and it's going to have a huge impact on your ability to handle anxiety and improve your mood. Okay, next you want to focus on what you can do to improve the quality of lives for others. I'm a big supporter of giving back to organizations, meaningful organizations and causes. Project Child Save is one of my favorites. They are my friend's organization, Ty Ritter, and they rescue kids at gunpoint if necessary in foreign countries from the horrors of sex trafficking and human slavery. I can't think of a cause that that people can't get behind more than this. Everybody should care about kids suffering, and it's amazing how many people don't. It's really disgusting, actually. So everybody should be supporting Project Child Safe, whether you donate $5 or $10 a month or $1,000 a month. It's going to make a huge difference. I want to donate as much as possible, so they're number one on my list of organizations to support. I also like Save Korean Dogs, because the deaths that dogs suffer in Korea are way worse than anything in America for the most part. I mean, they suffer horrific deaths, just like the dogs at the Yulin Festival, dogs and cats in the Yulin Festival in China. So I want to save as many of those dogs as possible, and there's two great organizations, Save Korean Dogs, No Dogs Left Behind. I'm an avid supporter of both of those organizations. I also like Elephant Sanctuary. They provide a sanctuary for elephants that were abused in the circus or the zoo. That was one of my mother's favorite organizations, and after she passed, I continued donating in her honor to support them. These are just a couple examples. Find charities that are meaningful to you, and you don't have to necessarily donate money. You could donate time, you could volunteer. Because anytime you put yourself in the service of others, whether it's people or animals, you're going to feel better. It's empowering. What's depressing is when you hear about suffering and you don't do anything about it. You don't feel like you can do anything about it, and you don't do anything about it. That is going to have a very negative impact on your mood. And like I said, it's going to be in your subconscious mind, affecting your conscious mind all the time, whether you're aware of it or not. So giving back is very important. Find causes and organizations that are meaningful to you, and either donate money and time or one or the other. That's going to make a big difference in your mood. And then avoiding overstimulation is important. So get off the phone, get off the computer, stop watching 5 hours of TV. All of this increases your anxiety. Read more often, spend more time in the company of actual people. Isn't that amazing? Have a real conversation with people in the real world. That's going to make you feel better for sure. Just being online all fucking day is not going to improve the quality of your life. If anything, it's going to detract. I actually got rid of Facebook and Twitter a while back, and I don't miss either one of them. And I've debated getting rid of Instagram too. I still think it's useful for my business and for putting out information like this. So for now, I'm going to keep it going, but don't be surprised if you see me disappear from Instagram as well, because if I don't feel it's improving the quality of my life, bye-bye, fuck off time. I don't need this bullshit. All right, so those are just some strategies you can kick into gear. Get your hormones tested. Focus on exercise and a healthy lifestyle. Make sure your sleep is good. Meditation can help before you go to sleep to get rid of anxiety. And then focus on giving back to others. These are all things that make a big difference with improving biochemical depression, and will also help with circumstantial depression. All right? Thanks for listening in. I hope everyone has a great day. We'll see you next time.